Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of Life of an Aspie. If you're new to my channel, I welcome you all. I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness and sharing my life stories with OCD, Aspergers Syndrome, and the like, along with tips and advice along the way, be it your general health versus your mental health, as well as many other things in between this. So as been brought to my attention, as I said, I'm hoping to do as much as I can based on the Autism main series, even though it's going to have to continue on at the end of the maybe say the beginning of next year, as well as some other important stuff that I want to share with you all to educate you all and inform you, and so that you can be self-aware of what's the differences between different people who you might meet. So this one is about obviously autism and sensory differences. Basically this is part 2 of it, which is the oversensitive. Hopefully you're enjoying some of these videos that I've been putting up as of late, so smash that like button, comment below also if I missed out any of the tips and advice along the way, because some of this will be tips and advice broken down into these sensory differences of this period as well. And as a key note, as a disclaimer, I'm no medical doula, so if you see anything out of the ordinary of the warning signs and symptoms that I have shared in the past and present of certain videos, seek professional help for yourself or your loved one, or seek an opinion for yourself and your loved one, because I don't first condone self-harm. So as I said before, some of the tips and advice that I'm going to give you is based on these different sensitive differences that may work for you or may not, and it may work for me and it may not, so it's a give and take for both of us, just to share in mind. So let's begin this. As we know, basically, as I said before, many people on the autism spectrum will have the time of their life having difficulty processing everyday sensory information, regardless what it may be. Any of the senses may be over or undersensitive, or both at different times periods, or it can occur at the same time. It will vary from person to person, however. These sensory differences, however, as I've shared, can affect the behaviours of people and can have profound effect on a person's life. I want to be here today, as always, of everyday situation to help you understand what autism is all about, as well as the person maybe, and how you can help them, because obviously, as we know, everybody's different on the autism spectrum, so we just need to be aware of the key differences regardless what it may be. As we know, as I said before, with this too much information, that sometimes with people who have autism or many other conditions as well, that suffers from this, with the too much information sensory overload period, that they may begin to struggle processing all the information due to everyday things going on behind them, in front of them, and what have you, busy sounds of the streets versus everything else. But you got to remember that sometimes for an autistic, it doesn't always mean that for that person to behave in a way that you wouldn't immediately think at its sensory sensitivities. A person who struggles to deal with everyday sensory information can experience sensory overload or information overload, as I shared before. Too much information for this of the sensory overload and all that can cause stress, anxiety, and possibly physical pain. So therefore, again, I'll link these up about the sensory overload and all these other bits and pieces either through our playlist below in my description or in the iCard just above you if you want to click it now. Okay, so let's get straight into the bits and pieces of these different sensory sensitivities. Okay, as we know, I want to give you all about the hypersensitivity of looking on the effects of each of the different sensory stimuli, be it sight, touch, sound, smell, taste, balance and body awareness, and tips and advice along the way in which you can help someone. So under sights, for the oversensitive, basically you may have distorted vision. Objects and bright lights can appear to jump around a lot, and then your images may become fragment, easier and more pleasurable to focus on a detail rather than just the whole object at once. Has difficulty getting to sleep, as maybe sensitive to light. Okay, a little paragraph he said is, she was Mrs. Merrick, a face upon which light danced maniacally, turning into more of a cartoon than just a human being. Welcome to Toontown. I'd like you to enter this torture chamber. I call my kitchen, and me my wife has a 3D cartoon. Ways in which you could make changes to the environment is reducing fluorescent lighting, providing sunglasses, using blackout curtains, creating a workstation in the classroom or in the office, a space or desk with high walls or device on both sides to block out any of the light that may cause it to be them to be really, sensitive to it. Under the sound for your oversensitive, therefore, for people with autism or just other people with this sort of problem, is noise can be magnified and sounds can become distorted and muddled. They may be able to hear conversations in the distance, inability to cut sounds, background noise, leading to difficulties concentrating and focusing on the task at hand. Do you hear noise in your head? It pounds and screeches. I'll link some resources also below of some, research and information so that you can get a clearer understanding to what I'm doing. So tips and advice into this one segment of this is you could help by shutting doors and windows to reduce any external sound, preparing the person before going to noisy or crowded places, providing earplugs and music to listen to, creating a screen workstation in the classroom or office, positioning the person away from doors and windows. Some of this may sound similar to what I said before, but I humbly apologize. But it works both ways for the under and oversensitive, not just quite that. And oversensitive to your smells. Smells can be so intense and overpowering to the degree of, such as your toiletry items, your perfumes, your deodorants, and that they can cause to toileting problems. Just like people's distinctive perfumes and shampoos, etc. Smells like dogs, cats, deodorant, and aftershave lotion are too strong to me. And I could understand, and certain perfumes do drive me nuts, and with my smell, it just really, really, really gets to me. You could help them by using unscented deodorants, detergents, avoiding wearing perfume, and making the environment as fragrance-free as possible, or just by trying to also, if you're really sensitive on the skin, though, I find for some people, just remember maybe to have fragrance-free products anyway and scent-free products. For your taste, if you're oversensitive, you'll find some flavors and foods are too strong and overpowering because of the very sensitive taste bud, and you will have a restricted diet. Certain textures cause discomfort. May only eat smooth foods like mashed potatoes or ice cream. Some autistic people may limit themselves to bland foods or crave for very strong tasting foods. For a tip here, as long as someone has some dark tree variety, this shouldn't be necessarily a problem. Touch for your oversensitive can be painful and uncomfortable. People might not like to be touched, and this can affect their relationships with others. Just like having anything on their hands or feet, difficulties brushing and washing their hair because the head is super sensitive. May find food textures uncomfortable. Only tolerate certain types of food and clothing textures. I find that every time I have certain clothes that has certain materials, it feels like ants are crawling all over me. I have shared what some of my sensitivity spots of taste food and stuff. Hopefully I can find it on one of my playlists to actually share it with you, so I'll link it in the description or even again on the iCard for you to catch on. Okay, for what you could do here is to help them, as my tip and advice for you all is warn the person if you're about to touch them. Always approach them from the front, never from the back, remembering that a hug may be painful rather than comforting to some. Changing the texture of food of certain things, maybe puree it or what have you. Slowly introduce textures of food as well as, other things around the person's mouth, such as flannel, toothbrush, and some different food. Gradually introduce different textures to touch. For example, have a box of materials available so that they can hopefully get the feel for it again. Allowing a person to complete activities themselves, for example, brushing their hair, washing, so that they can do what is comfortable for them. Turning clothes inside out So there is no shame removing any tags or labels whatsoever, because for many of us autistics, we find tags are downright annoying. Some of us, I don't know for some of you autistics, if any of you are watching this, I find it's really, digs deep into my skin, and it makes me itch like crazy. Again, it feels like some sort of scratching sensation, as if someone's scratching the back of my neck or wherever it may be placed. Allowing the person to wear clothes that are comfortable, and so don't forever force someone to wear something that is what you like to wear, because you never know, they may not like it whatsoever. So your balanced vestibular for your oversensitive is difficulties with activities such as sports, where we need to control our everyday movement, difficulties stopping quickly or during an activity, car motion sickness. Maybe we have not just car motion sickness, but we may end up having seasickness and some other difficulties with activities where the head is not upright or feet are off the ground. You could help for tips of advice for this part of the oversensitive is break down the activities into small and more easily manageable steps, and maybe using visual cues such as a finish line. Body awareness proprioception. For your oversensitive, you've got to remember they have difficulties with fine motor skills, e.g. maneuvering small objects like buttons or shoelaces. Moves her body to look at something. And tips and advice for this one is you could help by offering fine motor activities by like lacing boards and whatsoever. So this quickly ends, as I said, a real short overview of Autism and Sensory Differences, Part 2, Oversensitive. Smash the like button if you're liking this. Comment below. Feel free to also, as I said before, if any one of you that are watching that are autistic and is already in my YouTube community or has been from the autistic community of certain sites I've been on, please feel free to comment below so that we can learn and engage with each other, hopefully, so that we can broaden out and share it to the other communities out there. And all further ado, guys, if you haven't done so already and you're liking some of the videos and you want to be part of my YouTube fam, by all means subscribe, no pressure. I upload usually on the daily, but I might restrict now depending, because obviously I notice now I'll have to end up doing some closed captions, as I said, in some of the YouTube groups, and even though I've been trying to ask for assistance, I'm on my own, so I'm doing that on my own by the feels of it. So also be on the lookout, basically. Once you're down there, if you do decide to subscribe, to actually turn on the notification bell so you can keep up to date with new stuff, and hopefully in the new year, while there are some changes coming a lot on my channel and outside my channel, which I'm going to hopefully share with you all later on, once it comes to light, that you'll follow me through that. Follow me through my social media sites. Also share these videos around to family and friends so that we can, create a better understanding and awareness within all of this. So in all the day, guys, thanks for your support, thanks for watching. Do what you love what you do. Until next time, Aspie signing out, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.